Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me and giving me an opportunity to illustrate to you guys the proposed diversity plan that I came up with for the County of Riverside. I have analyzed and cultivated some recommendations that I feel will help improve that diversity throughout the organization. Additionally, I'd love to thank you guys for meeting through Zoom. Right now, I am out of state. I am in Atlanta. But however, with this application, I'm able to still meet with you guys and express my recommendations for this county. But first, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Latiera Burks, and I'm a management analyst for the Business Diversity Program Department for Ian Martin Group and Associates. I don't want to take much of your time, so let's get right to the point. So the County of Riverside is the fourth biggest county of California. It is one of 58 counties of California and holds a population of 2,189,000. Now, the County of Riverside has a vision that where people and possibility grow. Now, this vision is right to the point and very simple. Also, their mission is to effectively serve and partner with our community, departments, and employees by leveraging best practices, innovation that will foster and thrive the county. Now, the County of Riverside already have current practices of diversity. They have their own theory of diversity that's fluctuated and modified over the years and has been expressed in their hiring process, their employee development, and also their training. Now, these practices have given them the opportunity to be vulnerable to diversity and really set seed for diversity within the organization. Now, the county has a strategic vision for 2030. Now, this vision is driven and characterized by certain values such as trust, innovation, fun, integrity, diversity, street risk taking, intelligence, and investments. These these values result in high performing, resilient organization with an inclusive culture and a continuous learning, collaboration, and innovation. The compassion and engaged employees who are attracted obtain a high kind of talent and provide excellent personal service to the people, the community, and their fellow employees. Now, as mentioned before, the County of Riverside does have current diversity management practices such as recruitment and selection, application forms, and resource and training. Now, on the topic of recruitment and selection, the county really makes emphasis on getting job applicants from those underrepresented groups such as disability, minority group members, women, and veterans. Now, when it goes to the application form, the county really makes sure that they illustrate that the applicants are applying to an environment that really values non-discriminatory workplace and also is a part of the equal opportunities. Following that, they have resources and trainings such as disciplinary process class, violence in the workplace for the managers and regular employees, along with management harassment prevention training for both the management and the employees. Now, the management harassment prevention training for the employees is required to be done within the first 6 months of being hired, and then it is continuously done every 4 years. Now, for the management, the harassment prevention training is done within the first 6 months of training or promotion, but then also continue within the next 2 years after that. Moving forward, the county has made it a point to really keen out on how they handle the conflict within the organization. Now, the Riverside County requires their management and supervisory to to uphold such behavior that really sets a tone on how they handle conflict. This behavior is setting a strong example, providing a personal, updated information and training for illegal discrimination and harassment, and taking initial complaints seriously, as well as making sure all managers and supervisors take immediate action. Now, when it comes to addressing the conflict, the managers and the complaint have certain rules and guidelines. First, the complaint has to make sure that the complaint is orally or writtenly submitted to a supervisor or someone in a management position. Once that is done, the person in the management position equips the complaint with the policy of C25, which is their non-harassment policy, and also gives them a document for discrimination, harassment, retaliation, and complaint form. Now, once this complaint form is filled out, we move on to resolving of the conflict. Now, the resolving of a conflict is done when the designee will immediately authorize and supervise an investigation about the conflict. Factual information is gathered to see whether the action is really conducive with their harassment and discrimination definition. Then the designee takes recommendation, precise and effective for corrective action against the harasser. And lastly, the designee protects the complaint that no further discrimination is done while they're being employed throughout the county. Next, we move on to my recommendations to really pushing forward the county into this pool of diversity. So my first recommendation that I have for the County of Riverside is that they need to focus on measuring the existing diversity to improve the overall diversity levels of the organization. Now, this can be done through conventional measurements, such as quantifying the number that belong to contrasting racial and ethnic groups. However, with the conventional measurements, you can reach some challenges. So if this isn't sufficient, the organizations should really measure who possesses power. So who is in power within the organization. Next, we move on to my second recommendation, which is that the County of Riverside needs to expand the definition of diversity. We have to remember that diversity is not just about race. We are now in a point where diversity is blooming into something brand new. And even in one composed group of diversity, there can be diverse characteristics in that one group. So for the county to really birth this home of diversity, they have to really expand their own definition. I mentioned before that their definition has really been modifiable and fluctuating over the years. Now we're at the point to where we really need to take that one big step into really expanding and rebranding what we feel is diversity. My third recommendation is that the County of Riverside has to set requirements for the employees to do consistent training during the employment there. Now, I mentioned that there is consistent training for the harassment, whether if it's an employee or management. However, I believe that the training should not just stop with the conflict management, but it should start with other training such as inclusive and equality, respectful workplace, intercultural conflict inventory, unconscious biasness, and cultural competence. Trainings like these will help really educate the employees and birth new conversations of diversities that I feel this county has not really touched on. Lastly, I come to my fourth recommendation. The County of Riverside should really implement procedures that give the employees the chance to really give feedback, whether it's indirect or direct. It needs to be a strong importance on minority groups to have the power to really groom the implementation of diversity programs. It is known that 70% of those in power are white men. And so to really give the others and the minority groups the chance to really tell and express in a free environment, given them the chance to give this feedback will really help really plunge and give the county more of an insight that they probably never even thought about before. I feel that through giving feedback, measuring the diversity that's already there, a continuous training of more diversity focused topics, and also expanding the definition of diversity will really give the county of the county of Riverside, a chance to really birth this tree of diversity. Now, I've concluded my analysis for the county of Riverside, and I'm unsure if you guys have any questions, but if you do, feel free to contact me at any time. I'll be available via email, or we can do a one-on-one Zoom session. But I really feel that the county of Riverside is on its way to really be an example for the surrounding counties on what it really takes to be really diverse and really inclusive. I feel like this diversity will bring forth an area where people will feel included, people will feel able to influence and inspire people to do great things. Thank you for attending this Zoom session with me, and I hope the information I presented to you was great. And until next time, see ya.